I wanted to come back to another theme in this year's Edelman Trust Barometer. The Edelman Trust Barometer comes out every January. It's a global survey of levels of trust in four main institutions: business, media, governments, and NGOs. And it's always terrible. Levels of trust in those institutions are always low. And every year there's a different theme. This year the theme is about the quantity of people, the percentage of people who have a sense of grievance towards those institutions. Now, business always comes out as the most trusted of those institutions, but that's not saying much. It's still not very trusted. It's just it's more trusted than those organizations, those other types of organizations. But what I think is really important to remember is that as business leaders, we can actually do something about this. So it's not like we're just purely inheriting people's distrust into our organizations and we just have to manage it the best we can. We can change their experience of their relationships with each other, their relationships with their employer, and therefore start to improve global levels of trust. And what I wanted to pull out in this video was some of the ways that you can do that. Now, obviously, leadership is a huge passion of mine. It's what I speak to audiences about every single week. And it's really heartening, actually, to see that what people are asking for from their leaders, from their employers, from even leaders in government, though whether they're going to get it is another story, is more compassion. So have a little look at this piece of data from the Edelman Trust Barometer. So just to talk you through this page, it's based on people's sense of grievance. So whether their sense of grievance is low, moderate, or high. And what we can see here is that regardless of whether people's sense of grievance is low, moderate, or high, what they're asking for from leaders is to understand what people like me need and want. So you will earn influence with me if you seek to understand what people like me need and want. And that's very different to you'll earn influence with me if you occupy a position of power. Having a position of power is not enough for people to start to trust you, and that's particularly so, of course, if you already start off with a high sense of grievance. So when I'm talking to audiences about listening so hard you might change your mind, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about going and standing on other people's mountains and seeking to understand the way the world looks from their perspective. This is what it really means to understand people, to see the world as they see it. And it's really just about listening. It's about being compassionate. It's about understanding that if you stood where they stand, you would feel as they do. The next tip or suggestion for leaders that puts them in a position where they can influence this issue around trust is to provide jobs and skills for people that prepare them for the future. So let's have a look at the data around that. What people are saying is that, again, almost regardless of how high or low their sense of grievance is, they are asking for their organization, for companies in general, to provide good paying jobs in local communities. They're also looking for their organization to train and reskill them to be competitive. Now, this has a benefit for you as an organization as well as people. So from your perspective, by investing in the people that you have, you upskill them, then they can do the jobs that you need them to do, not only now, but in the future. You don't have to go out into the market and find people, go through redundancy, bring in new people, all of that, just because the needs that you have changed. You've invested in your own people. But also, of course, when you do that, you generate loyalty. People want to work, they want to make a difference, and they want to grow and develop. So if you can help them to satisfy that need, they're going to have greater trust in the organization. When they have greater trust, they are going to be more resilient around change. They are going to innovate, they're going to bring their best ideas, and they're going to go above and beyond for you because they really value what you've done for them to give them a secure future. And the final piece of data that I want to share with you is about workplace civility. And I think that this is fascinating. What people need from their work is an environment where it's safe to have difficult conversations. Just have a look at this. So this is all about, and again, look through the lens of how high or low people's sense of grievance is. This is about people wanting to have a safe place for having discussions about difficult issues. What we have in the world at the moment is a very polarized society, people who have very different opinions and who seem unable to listen to each other and have adult conversations about those difficult and competing issues. So how about if the workplace becomes a place where people can start to have these conversations, if you can facilitate safe spaces for that? I'm asked so often what it takes to get people to really care, to really engage with the organization, even to be loyal, to not move on or expect a promotion or a pay rise within 6 months of being in the organization, otherwise they threaten to leave. And these are great ideas. Be compassionate, listen to people, try to stand where they stand and see the organization and the world from their perspective. Invest in them, skill them for the future so that they will be able to stay with you and continue to provide all that service and all that value to your customers and clients. And then create safe spaces for people to talk about difficult issues. Teach them how to have healthy conflict. As leaders in business, we can change the world. We can certainly change the experience that our employees are having of the world. So I hope that you will take this on board and have a look at what you can do as an organization to create a really trusting environment for your people. I hope you found that useful. I'd love to know your thoughts below, and I'll see you again soon.